Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
Paradise. Oh, fuck, it was a beautiful day here, man. Really, seriously.
Yeah, it was pretty nice here, too.
Really nice.
Yeah.
You guys had it hot, man. 32 or something?
Yeah.
I talked to Mark 400 times today.
Okay, yeah.
I talked to Luch today.
Oh, no way.
So he's doing. Which is good.
Yeah?
Give him a shit. Does not use a phone.
Yeah?
Eh,
What the heck, man?
I don't know. I don't understand. What about you? What's going
on? Same stuff, man. I'm pitching. Been pitching stuff. Been pitching stuff, working on stuff, you know.
It's good. And?
Yeah. I haven't landed anything new yet. But you know, it's getting there. And then just like really interesting conversations about how to get to digital faster. That seems to be the big conversation, right? With all these folks is.
Well, it sounds like with some of the people I know that you're doing with, it sure sounds like it's good. Looks like there's some influence.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying.
We're all pretty stoked.
You know, and it's really it's funny, right? Because like digital is really just a catchphrase, right? It's really like it's how do you do marketing in the right channels, right?
Right.
You know, so we're getting there. You know, we're getting there.
It just takes time. I still think on some of these guys, it's the plan.
Yeah.
Put it on the box.
Yeah.
It's not platforms.
Yeah.
It's not tasks.
Yeah.
It's what's the thought.
But it's the art. It's the art of how you pull those details in one at a time, right? Because sometimes you go, we're going to build a plan. Everyone goes like, whoa, that's too much information. So it's almost like, how do you pull parts of it together so that people digest parts? So they start to realize like, oh, I understand this part, so that when the plan comes together,
right,
you know, it just comes together, right? So,
well, because the plan can grind you to a stop.
Yeah.
Because you look at it from a high level. You think, that's just great. Like honestly, when it comes, it's overwhelming and daunting.
Yeah.
And you just look at it and think, no, I am not doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm doing. And then you start questioning your abilities.
Yeah. And
then it's just, it's not good for anything.
Well, you get sucked too. So, there's our friend Sherry.
I thought we lost her.
Oh no, I was on the Google Meet.
One.
That's why. I was like,
I'm sorry.
You guys are.
Don't you know what? I did it tonight too, and I thought, who's Google Meets?
Yeah.
You know, like, so I disable it every turn, but Google's just super persistent.
I know,
like,
they're very persistent.
They would like you to use Google Meet for everything, and I turn it off for everything. But sorry, Cherry.
No, that's okay.
Place. Yeah.
So let me dial in as well, because I actually got, or wait, no. I can grab my laptop connector for the lapel.
Oh, okay.
You know what? No,
your audio is really good though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Your audio's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
If you want to do it anyway, go ahead. Phil and I can talk.
Yeah.
I want to try. I just bought this. Like.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
So
New tech. Do it.
So eager to try it.
Do it.
Don't blame you. You want to be able to control Phil.
Yeah, exactly.
I would definitely be trying it. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Oh man. Yeah. No. So Kenny, what I was saying, just a lot of like pulling in bits and bobs of a plan. I'm putting together a plan for a guy who does some pretty cool work for pet adoption. He's like a platform for pet adoption and helping pet transports keep track of where pets are or possible adoptees are. It's very funky. It's very fancy. Yeah. So it's pretty neat. Right. Yeah. Man.
Look at you go.
Weird.
I'm trying. You know, and then the flip side is, you know, the balance at home. Like I'm you know, we rent out the basement, you know, and we're like putting stuff together, and you know, we actually, so I talked to Chloe from the beach on Tuesday, you know, because we went up to Collingwood, you know, so we went up to you know, if you're from Ontario, I was up at Wasaga Beach. If you're not, we were up at kind of a destination beach, like a popular local beach.
Like the big lake, or like
yeah. So it's on no, it's on the bay. So it's on Georgian Bay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we went up, and you know, like there's nobody, right? It's like a Tuesday. It's normally like, it's a pretty popular beach town, but with all the COVID stuff, it's just not working. So everyone's, you know, kind of bailed. So we went up and hung up for the day, and I had to talk to Chloe, you know, in the car by the beach. You know, it's pretty awesome. So did some work from the beach. It was all right. You know,
you're getting out. I'm not even leaving the house.
Yeah, man.
You know, the farthest I went today, I went to
Yeah.
I gotta go get my other cord. Just a second.
So you know what happens? That's what happens. You get fixated on technology.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you just know you should let it go, but you just can't let it go.
I'm like, I'm smart enough to figure this out.
It's okay. I know exactly what you're going through, because you actually are, at least are smart enough to do it. See, I would fight it to the point where I'd just be swearing away. Phil would say, put it away or try something different, and I'd be so agitated.
What do you got? So
good odds.
So you got a lapel mic.
I do.
And then are you patching it through to your phone? Is that what you're doing, or does it have a power?
Yeah, I was trying to do it through my phone, but I'm going to hang up my phone and then just use my laptop.
It sounded okay before, so you know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear anything. See,
you're on mute. Yeah, just unmute yourself, and you should be okay.
How's this, guys?
There you go.
Yeah, it's great. No worries there.
It's all good.
Let me rejoin.
It's all good.
Oh, she ran away.
She's going to rejoin.
She's going to rejoin.
Because she's probably on audio on one, video on the other, upside down.
Yeah. So that voice you heard, for listeners, is Cherry Yang. She's going to join us. We're going to talk about. So I introduced Kenny to Cherry, and I actually happened to be on a beach one Saturday. Was it Saturday? Friday?
Saturday, I remember. Or Sunday. It was a weekend for sure.
Yeah. And Kenny called me and just got so excited. Like Cherry got Kenny so excited.
I think it was even before I talked to her, because I was doing that.
Yeah.
You threw me on.
Yeah. Airtable. Was it Airtable?
No, the Tableau.
Tableau. Yeah.
Just cool shit, right? You can do with stuff, right?
Yeah. So
then I started playing with it, and I thought, geez, this takes more work than I thought. That's okay. I still enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun to play with stuff.
Okay. And Cherry's just working her stuff out. She's going to come and go a couple of times, but so I know Cherry from Hubba Days. She joined us at Hubba. She worked, you know, kind of on the client side, and then worked data analytics. And she's just got such an eye for analytics. And just you've met her, right? So she's bright, she's bubbly, she's super smart.
Oh, I liked her right away. I told you. You got to go on the show, on the podcast, because I think.
Are you guys talking about me?
Yeah. No, we're done. You can go now.
We're done. Yeah, this is like those 3 children, beautiful, smart, talented at singing. Yeah.
I take you as a 4th child. You're pretty amazing.
Oh, wonderful! I'll gladly be adopted into your family. Sophie the dog, 3 kids, all like musically talented. Yeah.
You're so we've done an introduction. We've introduced you. I've told everyone how bright and smart you are, and that we met at Hubba. So I don't know. Do you want to just introduce yourself and kind of tell people what you do now?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, since our time at Hubba, a few things have changed. Worked at a robotics startup one point, and then now I'm just doing my own consulting work. So super, super fun building no-code database solutions for a myriad of industries, certainly lots of retailers, manufacturing, entertainment has been a big one as well, and some kind of more traditional industries that have to do with real estate or contracting work, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And so when you say no code, that is like there's no extra coding available. Like it's straight up as it sounds, right? So
yeah, it's pretty straight up. Like typically I'm just migrating people from using maybe 10 or 15 different Excel spreadsheets and not really knowing where things are, into an Airtable database where it provides a single source of truth for their team. Because what I'm finding is that a lot of clients had kind of okay solutions when they were working in the office, and they would just like walk over to somebody else's desk and say, okay, where is this piece of information at? You have the most updated file, or they'll email back and forth for that. But now that people are working remotely, it's like all of a sudden everybody and their mom want something better, because it's just wasting way too much time.
Yeah, it's broken for sure. Yeah. It's broken. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the problems I helped fix, and it's been really exciting so far. Also doing some like integrations, more complicated integrations through Zapier and some scripting.
I saw that. That's cool. I didn't know you did the Zapier stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, Zapier is great because like you can automate like your MailChimp, your like one-off emails, generate POs automatically. Like it's really good for that. Yeah.
So for the audience that they don't know, Zapier is a kind of like it's like a all-in-one fits interface. So they do a lot of like, think of them like a switchboard operator, pretty much whatever you happen to have on one side. So if you have, here's a really good example. So if you've got like Wix as your website, and let's say you're a business and you've got to go to a CRM, like so a customer records management system, Wix doesn't really do that. And so maybe use Salesforce or use HubSpot or something like that. It's ridiculously difficult to plug the two in, but Zapier has a lot of, kind of easy connections that you'd pay a subscription for. And, you go to one end and plug it in. Well, Zapier would say, oh yeah, you just plug it in. But usually what happens is you kind of like go, what am I plugging in? And so you call someone so you call Cherry go, I got it. Yeah. that doesn't go there. Let me just plug that. That doesn't go. And that's bad. Don't do that. I'll figure out how, but it's cool because it does hook up it's pretty cool for hooking up all your different softwares and getting them to talk to each other.
Sure.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this thing you're doing?
Yeah, I first got introduced to Airtable about 3 years ago, and then started doing some consulting work a year and a half ago. So it's coming up 2 years, and it's been a really fun ride because historically, obviously Phil and I have been working in retail, and then worked for another, the robotics retail company. They mostly service clients like Gap and American Eagle. So still within retail, and this is like allowing me an opportunity to really like branch out, get to know a whole bunch of other businesses, kind of going back to the consulting world that I started with right after school. Yeah.
So Kenny, Cherry's one of these smarties. She went to Hubba. Yeah, she went to Hubba. I
didn't notice that.
She's got this great big brain, and then when after Hubba and then after her robotics thing, she just went, no, I'm done with this. I don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to do this, whatever this is. I met her for a bubble tea, and she was like, I'm done. By the way, I'm moving back to the West Coast. And I was like, what are you going to do there?
The Best Coast.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not doing this. And I'm going home. And that was it. And I was like, oh, yay. Oh my God. Like, and then I talked to her like 6 months later, and she's like, bam, I built myself a business. I got
But you're not
clients. I got
surprised.
no, I'm not.
You're not surprised by it. I mean, I had a 45-minute-hour conversation,
Yeah.
and I thought, okay, shit, this girl's got her shit together. I don't know. She talks like she's 70 because she's got that much knowledge on stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever, right? For a young person, like I thought, wow,
right?
like this girl's got
It's all put
something going
together.
on,
Yeah.
right? And to figure it out at such a young age is, pretty impressive.
Oh, well, we only talked
Pretty
about the
impressive.
part I figured out. There's like 99% of things I haven't figured out, but it's a work in progress.
Join the rest of us.
But that's all we do on this show. We don't talk about the shit that we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes inadvertently it just comes out all the shit that I don't know. But that's okay. Someone has to be the one that doesn't know things.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So tell me, so of the things that you do, what do customers want more? Like where do you spend a chunk of your time? Is there, one area that you get approached for more?
Yeah, so I think there's a few different buckets, right? It's mostly on the sales and operations front because at Hubba was obviously very involved in the sales and CRM side. So naturally gravitating towards those. So building lots of CRM projects, sales funnel tracking, and like lead attribution, which is, something that I think every single company struggles with. It's like, how much did we spend on this lead that came in this month? And, what do they do 3 months later?
Oh, yeah.
So who knows, right? So the lead attribution problems are quite interesting. Those
can we
project management as well.
Can we crack that one open a little bit? So lead, because I think that is something that everybody struggles with. So where, so to me, that's everything from, I spent some marketing dollars, I did some Google ads, I did Facebook ads, I did Instagram. They showed up on the website, right? But generally, if you get that far, you're ahead of the game, right? And then when they land on the website, everyone goes, so what do they do? And everyone goes, oh, I don't know. Like, what you do is you almost leap over that and you leave that gray space and you go, did I see a spike in POS sales or not? Right? Like it's almost like this fuzzy attribution, right?
Yeah. With retail, it's quite complicated. Like right now, I'm working with a different client to solve that problem. They work in real estate. So they basically do, they flip houses, flipping about 200 properties a year. Okay. So for them, it's more about, okay, so our lead came in, different parts of the funnel. Did they book our first call? So I think the work that I do lends itself really well to B2B, because if you got a retailer comes in and you have your first call with them, at what point do they actually make their order? Is it a week later? Is it 3 months later? Is it 6 months later, right? So what is that sales process for you? Yeah. And how do they come through? What was the source of that lead coming through? Was it via phone, email, a form on your website, wholesale form? Yeah. And then being able to capture that, put them through the funnel, and analyzing that is really interesting. And if you have like B2B ads going out, you kind of factor in your ad spend for that month, which is just an export of whatever numbers, you spent on Google or Facebook. Yeah. And then you got 20 leads that month for wholesale, or if you've got 200 leads for that month for wholesale, that would be amazing. Then, divide the cost and then figure out kind of from there, versions based on they came in, filled out a form. That was one cost. And then when they get on that first call, that's another cost because there's some drop off, and then getting to that final order is the cost then.
So then you get really a whole bunch of things out of it. You get cost of acquisition, right? So now I know it cost me $100 to get every lead that comes in. And then I also get, lead metrics, right? How long did it take me to convert? What the path to purchase looks like, right? So Is it a Google ad and then a telephone call, and then so I know on average how long it takes me to actually close the deal.
It just popped in.
Yeah, and the neat part is so generally I'm building in the CRM as well. So with the CRM, you have a lot of different information on that retailer. So, how many stores do they have? What's their annual revenue? Number of buyers? What department are your products going into? So then you can get segmentation from, okay, maybe for the smaller retailers, likelihood of them ordering or that sales cycle is much shorter, whereas with retailers for a larger size, then you can get much larger orders, but also takes longer to sell.
So what size of companies are you dealing with on generally speaking? Are you talking 25, 30, $40 million companies? Are you talking?
Generally smaller. It honestly really depends on the business, because Airtable caps the number of data records at 50,000 per table. So that's actually quite a limiting factor for me, because I've had to turn clients away because they were too big. And at that point, I just say, okay, go build your own SQL database. So for operations problems, perfect, can handle those all day. But for B2C, Airtable can have some limitations depending on the size of the business. But B2B is generally pretty
B2B
good.
generally isn't as large, so obviously B2C.
Yeah, exactly. B2B is not as large.
What I'm trying to understand is how do you get people sort of hooked on this? And the reason I asked that, because I work for obviously a bunch of different clients, that I think if you go in or you went in and talk the way especially you two talk, I think they would just look and think, I have absolutely no idea what these two are talking about.
What?
And,
Phil gets me. Phil gets me.
I don't know where these people came from. The lead came in. Oh, it could have been by Pete. I don't know if Pete brought it in. Oh, it could have been by email. Did someone phone us? Is the webpage up and running? Like, that's the reality of a lot of these businesses. I mean, they're functioning on, boys and girls running out there like mad people, just knocking on doors, existing accounts and whatever. CRM is going to be a notebook at best, if that, non-shared. My notebook, my world, nobody else sees it. So when you're talking to those companies who need the most help, I mean, I can see it, right? I live it, who probably need the most help. How do you get them to understand specifically, let's say when you two are talking, that's great, but what are they, they're looking, acquisition, what do you mean acquisition costs a what?
Well,
I don't know where the hell the lead came in from.
But you almost need, like, that's where, like, Cherry and I, we haven't actually talked about this at all, but it's almost like it's how we interact, right? Like, you think of some of these brands that I've talked about on this show where they're getting that spot where they're starting to now figure out how much money am I spending, in general, on LinkedIn ads or Google ads or whatever. That's the point. That's the turning point, right? Because at that point, you start by going, listen, I'm going to spend a chunk of money, right? And I'm going to start getting people. But at some point you realize I'm getting people in. Now I have to get better about knowing where those people are coming from so that I know where I should, because I can spend $1,000 on each of those channels. But if I'm making enough revenue and I want to start spending more, that leads you to the natural question is, well, where do I spend it? Do I spread it out between the three again? And then the startings of that is these folks going through their own stuff and going, I think it's Facebook that gets me more ads, or I think it's LinkedIn, and then starting to figure out those things. That's where, like, so I would help with that process, but Cherry helps with the no. I'm going to actually show you how to show you data. Like, stop using the accounting machine with the little pull.
Yeah.
Your calculator or your mental math.
Or an abacus.
Yeah. No. Like, this is the shift from gut to science, right? Like, that's when you start really, and then the cost of acquisition stuff really, it's really where, like, you go from a small business to a big business, right? Because then small businesses go, I spent $100,000 on marketing last year. Where'd it go? I don't know. What did it net me? I don't know. But I know my sales are up roughly 30%. Yay, right? Big business, even when you've got a small pot, big business is the one that says, listen, I know it costs me $35 per person. You know, if I spend $35 in the right way, they're going to come through the door.
I know I got that person. Right.
And that's where like someone like Cherry is worth her weight in gold, because it means next year when you're building your marketing plan, you don't go, I spent $100,000 last year, I got to spend $100,000 this year. You go, it cost me $35 per person. So if the business wants me to now double my business, I now need, you know, I need that many more $35 per persons in order to drive that many people into the business. So
and the thing I find, you know, like I'm not an expert with ads by any means, but often even just like talking to my friends about it, when Google tells you your conversion rate, they've gone and clicked your website and gone to your website, but that actually doesn't mean they've ordered anything. So everything that happens after they click on your website, we submit a form, like where is all that funnel, where are all those like funnel metrics getting captured, right? It's kind of in the collective
somewhere
cloud computing
space
of our like team. Right?
Well, that's just like, it. If you're lucky, it's that sort of
floating around in
sometimes
this,
we don't even know if it's floating
memory.
Sometimes it comes in and we don't even track where it went, and it may work out or it may not, but nobody knows, because nobody knows it came in, nobody knows if it's left, nobody knows what's going on with it. I mean, that is a lot of small businesses run. And the thing is, I think that's where when you and I were talking, and I threw they're not necessarily massive leads, but they're leads because you know that these people should be really digging down and trying to understand. When someone clicks on the web page, what did you even do? Did you look at it? Does anybody check? And if they haven't checked, why? And if they did check, what did they see? You're right. Did they click 20 times? Did they come back? Did they order? Did they just walk away? Did they phone in? Like, honestly, I know for a fact they're not even doing that. There's no.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, CRM in a lot of these businesses is a notepad and a pen.
Yeah.
It's not bad, not brutal, but hard to do anything with in terms of sharing.
Exactly. But I think the misconception here is that, like, often coming from enterprise or even at startups, there are just so many fields in the CRM, and it doesn't have to be that way. Right. Because all you really need is some basic information, phone number, email, things they like, things they don't like, and another list or notes, right? Notes. Like, that's super easy to build. And I've actually built some, like, I have a personal CRM that is just, who is the person, what city are they in, when did I last talk to them, and just like hung out with Phil. Kids are doing great. Sophie is awesome. And just like,
I'm in your CRM. It's awesome.
I mean,
Kenny is
very important. I only put like important people in there. Okay.
So is Kenny in your CRM?
Yeah, Kenny's very important.
Not yet. I have to work a little harder than you. I'm still in like the notebook version of the CRM for you too. I already know that.
You're a Post-it note. You haven't quite made the data.
If I hit a Post-it note past the notebook, that's a technology upgrade. Okay, if I've made Post-it note, I'm on. Before you know it, I'm going to be in your Palm Pilot.
Yeah.
I'm going baby BlackBerry right after that. It's going to be moving like a mile.
Oh my gosh, BlackBerries. Oof.
So do you see what happened there? Cherry said BlackBerry, oof, but when you said Palm Pilot, you
no clue.
No clue.
No.
I need to Google
it. Don't bother. Actually, you could. It was it was the start of all the fun things. But yeah, it's I date myself perpetually on this show, so it's all good.
Oh my
it's all
God.
Good. I know.
So I actually, funny thing is I have the original Palm Pilot Pro, and I actually still have it. I have it in the box and the whole bit.
I had one kicking around the house. I just don't know where it is. It's probably worth something now, because I think mine was probably first generation.
It's probably worth something now.
It's so Cherry, this is like your most basic, like, so this is back when the days when we literally were going from paper to digital.
Yeah.
And like, so grayscale, runs on 2 AA batteries. There's no there's no interface, right? Like the original Palm Pro, it doesn't connect to anything. So it doesn't cloud sync. It doesn't do anything. It just keeps everything in the palm, you know? And so there's a writing system, there's everything. And then you organize based on what's in the Palm Pilot. That's it. Like it's like
huge.
It's like an electronic paper.
Yeah.
But it was huge. It was
back 20 years. If you said cloud to somebody, they'd look up.
Yeah.
What was a cloud? There's no cloud. That's a cloud. The cloud's in the sky. There was literally no cloud. I mean, when people say, you think, okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's amazing. Right? It's hilarious.
But it was at the time. Think about it. At the time, that was pretty.
Yeah.
That was pretty revolutionary. That was kind of one of those things. But just so you know, young lady, because I think you're talking to somebody tomorrow, that in large part is still a large part of where people work. If you look at the CRM, and I think tomorrow you should talk a lot of CRM. But when you're looking at that, that's sort of, it's basic sales 101. It really is. It just needs to get into a digital world. And don't kid yourself. A lot of small companies they're terrified of Salesforce or Metrics or any of these other, or HubSpot, because cost, because big, oh my God. So and plus, how do you connect them? And I'm going to have 14,000 IT people.
No.
And who's going to teach? Like, honestly, they're freaking terrified. So anybody who can go in with a really nice, clean, basic system, because I mean, a lot of people I know that they're not 20. There's not a lot of 20-year-old food reps running around the city. There are a lot of 40, 45, 50, 55, right? And using an iPad with cell data is like, that's mind-bending to them, right? To go back to your car and take notes and potentially do an order and send is not how their brain functions. They go in, they write the order down, they say hello to a few people, maybe write a note or just remember, and then run to the next place. At the end of the day, then they compiled all this shit. And you're trying to teach them that, you know what, if you took the 5 minutes after the call, sat down in the car, you got to go anyway, relax a minute, have a smoke, have a drink, go to a pop, get a McDonald's, I don't care what you do whatever you want to do, but take those 5-10 minutes and get your shit organized, how much time it would save them and how quickly they can get data disseminated now back to the office, maybe back to the clients, right? Don't kid yourself. There's a lot of people that don't like that. You're going to rock their world. Like, what the hell? I deal with it every single day. I'm telling you. Like, that would be mind-bending.
That's the beauty of it, right? Like, it doesn't need to be complicated. Like, my personal one and some that I've built for clients, like, there might be like 10, 20 fields altogether in a CRM. Like, that's, like, if you talk to anyone who uses Salesforce, it's like, no, we've got like 300 fields, 200 of which are not useful.
200 not useful. Another 50, which we don't even understand. Of the 50 that we potentially use, we use 20 of them. Why? We don't understand the 30 that we could have used.
Right. Right. So you really only need 20.
Right. So you bought a box of 300 crackers and you ate 20 of them.
Well, and then when you do the audit next time, you realize that you're capturing data in 2 different fields. And then you've got to figure out what.
So this was my life for like a year and a half.
But this is why, like, I got more excited after the call, is because I mean, I sit on the other end sometimes and I get thrown these software packages and I'm thinking, you know, guys, come on. I mean, it's not that I'm not old, but I'm also to a point where I don't want to know the mechanics of it. Like, if it's not massively intuitive, really quick, I'm not interested.
Yeah, go away.
I've done all this shit. I'm not going to do this. Make it simple for me. Show me why what you're telling me is so important. Like, just tell me that in a very tight little box, and then show me a really easy tool that's customized to what I want. Right. And so when you're talking to some of the people, I'm telling you, that's what you have to do, is because, and I know you can, that's why I got excited after our phone call. I thought, oh shit, man. I'm going to let this girl run amok, because what the hell, why not?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's exciting. That is cool, because I can see that now. Wow. Finally, without spending a shitload of money on these software packages and getting these licensing agreements that could cost anywhere from, you know, $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Yeah. And nobody's using it anyway. It'd be great if someone came with a very simplified version that we can actually use. And once we start, maybe it's, hey, Jerry, we're thinking of this now. What do you think of this? We want to get this. And now we want to get all the email addresses. And remember, past phone calls now. We're going to email. Big time. Get the email into the CRM. And what can we do now? And then can we send a note out to all these lovely people. But you know what I mean? That's revolutionary to a lot of these folks. And it's not that they're stupid. This is not a knock on their intelligence. It's just that's not the way they've done it. Pen, paper, scratch notes, end of day, do your POs, send a few notes to the office. That's it.
Yeah, from my end, it's the same, right? Like something simple like collecting email subscribers. Same deal.
Why is that so? It's such a rocket science topic. And yet you're right, Phil. It's like
but they all, and it's the tech part, right? Because they all understand the beauty of like I've got to collect emails, I've got to talk to these people. The more people I talk to, the more I can convert. But as soon as you get to so they're going to put their name in that magic little subscribe box or whatever. Now where does it go? And then they all go, well, I don't know. Like, where the F is it supposed to go? Like, where do I keep it? Do I write them all
you just told me to get it.
You're just like,
I got it.
You're like,
I don't even want me to do anything with it, but I got it. I got the email.
You know, they're like,
give me the next 10 pieces of instructions after I get it.
And then you're saying, well, you should send things to them, thinking,
I don't know where to
what do you want me to send them?
How do I send them? Right? Like, well, and then how do I keep track of what I send them?
Exactly.
Like, oh my God, right? Like,
and who's doing that?
Yeah. And so you get to a place where they go, you know what? I'm just not going to send anything. I'll just find new people all the time. You're going, no.
Well, because in their mind, though, that's easier.
Yes,
and makes sense. You know what? Forget this lead shit and this lead generation. You know what? I'll just go knock on another door. If I knock on 10 doors, I might close one.
Yeah.
I can collect all these things they want me to do in this CRM thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what the hell to do with this. I'll just go knock on 10 more doors. It's a numbers game.
Cherry, you're now solving the entire world's problems. We thank you.
My pleasure.
I was excited after talking to you because I thought this girl can do little customizations or big.
Yeah.
But she's going to be able to talk to these people who are just terrified of anything that sounds like ERP or SOP.
Blah, blah, blah.
Or all these wonderful, they're just thinking, I don't know what they're
and
talking
SDKs.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't know what those are either, so we'll just answer your questions.
Exactly. But they need to know what to ask.
Yeah.
They need to know what to ask. And sometimes I think that's sort of the trick on our side is to get them to understand the questions they do sort of need to ask. Are you doing this? And they should look at you and say, well, I'm not too sure. Why would I do that? Here's why.
Yeah, totally. And
it's complicated.
The awesome work that you guys do too, right? Because sometimes I think we can all relate to this. Our clients just don't know what they want. Like very often they'll do one project in Airtable and they're like, oh, we love it. And what else can we do? And it's like, well, what other things are you doing?
I don't know. What do you want
what's
to do?
Taking a lot of time and what do you want to do? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's just this constant problem of not knowing what you don't know,
what you don't
right?
know.
And that's what we were talking about. Like,
it's 100%.
I don't know. Like, I haven't figured out 99% of things. So.
Yeah.
But the difference is you'll sit there and try to battle through it, right? A lot of these small businesses are doing relatively well. They're probably making some money. They're growing. And to them, quite frankly, I mean, we're doing okay. Our sales reps are calling on 100 doors. How many are you closing? I don't know. But every week there's some new people coming. I see someone putting a new account in. Well, what'd they buy? I don't know. Who's at the account? Well, I don't know. Who are they talking to? Well, I don't know. So they talk to the receiver and they got $100. Imagine if they talk to the manager. Maybe they got $10,000. Nobody knows who the hell they're just, but it runs. Scary as that sounds.
Yeah, it runs. Yeah. Very common problem.
Oh, yeah. That's Cherry. What you're doing is awesome.
I think what you're doing is awesome too. I think you got. I think you could, and if I think because we were talking the other day, sort of why we were talking about how do you scale this and how do you grow this, or even like what do you find a niche to play in, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever that even means. And if you do find a niche, I mean, how many accounts can you take in your world? How do you continue to have some retained earnings for a while? Like, how do you get to that sort of spot? Right?
Yeah.
So when you take on clients, like how many clients are you able to take on in one go? Are you comfortable? I'm.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
okay.
I try to have one project starting a week
Okay.
because then it kind of balances out. I have some continuity and predictability in terms of what we're doing. Of course, the project lengths really vary, right? When Kenny and I were talking, I was telling him I'm working with a nonprofit for a really small project, but because they help survivors of like human trafficking, it's just like, oh well,
wow,
it's
that's cool.
charging a nonprofit rate, and it's a really small project, but that's like, that's okay.
That's okay.
It's fine. But I try to have something starting every week. So basically, when people call me, I just plan it out.
Yeah. So over a month, you might carry what, like eight customers ish?
I think it's generally between
like 4 and 6.
Yeah, 4 and 6.
Okay.
Like one of the things we're talking about, 4 and 6, and duration 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. So every 8 weeks.
Yeah, you're
kind of churning, right? You're kind of, okay, this one, Phil's fallen off. Who's next? Okay, well, Ken's coming on. Okay, that's great. But you're trying to keep this wheel turning. But what would be nice sometimes is have it turning, but have it turning with the guys that just left. It's nice to see if you can, you know what I mean? So that your income is continually moving too. Otherwise, what you're doing is sort of, you and I talk about, Phil, you're just knocking on doors all the time.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the wheel moving.
Yeah.
Which is part of business and part of being an entrepreneur. And consulting is like that. Phil and I talk about it. The point of our world is to make ourselves, in essence, obsolete in a time frame. Right? You take a job, you finish the job, but they don't need you anymore. That's, in theory, the role of
and
the
that's why I do a lot of coaching, because I don't want them to keep reaching out for little things. Like, I don't know how to add a field in my CRM. Like, no, I should already teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Knowledge doesn't need to
Stop
only
rest me, man.
We went through this. No. Always happy to help. Always happy to help. But obviously want to set them up for success so that they feel confident.
Yeah.
Like make changes too, because.
But I also think that's I think that's what everyone wonders too, right? Is I'm encouraged by that. Like you're turning them over fairly quickly. And so if you can get a business and you can get their funnels quantified, their CRM set up in 4 to 6 weeks, that's pretty
impressive.
Like Salesforce Salesforce takes like a third of your income, right? A third of your income at least. And then it takes you like a year to get the damn thing running. Yeah. And it takes you another year to audit if you actually need all the fields that you bought, right? Like
exactly.
It's like 3 years before you decide, oh, you know what? Actually, these guys are too expensive and I really shouldn't use them. I should migrate to somebody else. And then you're like, oh my God, I gotta start.
They start the 50
and then start a 2-year
again.
Process with HubSpot because they're too small businesses.
Right. Yeah, but you know what I mean? But that's a hard, that's a hard lesson to learn. Right. Yeah. Because a lot of those companies are the same ones that piss and moan. Fuck, I spent $50 on a Facebook ad and I don't think I got anything. You say, well, how much did you spend on your lovely little package this month? $1,500. How much of that did you use?
Yeah.
Right. They don't see that because that tool is important because everybody talks about that tool.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't focus on the fact that tool is important to get up and running.
And there's tools for businesses of all different sizes, right? So if you're a huge business doing like 100 million revenue, then by all means go to Salesforce.
Absolutely, light it up.
But
right,
for something smaller,
payments, sure.
Yeah, if you can afford it.
But if you're a small guy, what do you hear? Think about it. If you're a little guy and you say, someone comes to you and says, "Hey, what do you have a CRM system?" They say, "Oh yeah, we got CRM. Yeah, it's really good.
It's right here in this book."
And then they walk away and they go, "What the hell is a CRM?" Someone in the office. Someone will say, well, it's the paper one we do when we take notes. And I'm thinking, I don't think that's what that guy was talking about. I think there's something out there. Type in CRM, Salesforce, Metrics,
Zoho,
all this place.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then you start thinking, wow, we need to invest 25, 50 grand a year because that's what CRM is. Where someone like you can come and say, no, we can do a custom little one here that can be tweaked and added to and whatever. So it's not going to break the bank. And your people actually might use it. Because as well as I do, a lot of those programs, sales guys are terrified of it. I think they all look at it and say, that's 5 hours. That you just killed my whole day. And it's really not that. It may be at the beginning, but it can save you time as you go.
So
in theory.
Funny story. So how about we use Salesforce, and we used it for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think two of my most angriest moments I've ever had was one where, we try to be really comprehensive with it, but I remember building something and then spending probably a week building this thing only to have the Salesforce person tell me that the field I was using was no longer one that we were maintaining. I remember literally
you gotta be kidding me, right?
Carrie and I worked together for what, 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
I think
wonderful webinars that Phil made.
That was one of those
brilliant.
moments I literally went, fuck, what the like I was so angry. I was just like, but like classic example, right? We had like hundreds of fields, right? And you're like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that that's not one of the
fields? And why that
glossary?
Field?
Like what? Why not
300 fields I'm not using, and the one fucking field I'm using, that's the one we're not going to do anymore. Really?
Yeah.
Never, for the record, I've never seen Phil angry. They're just like, Phil and angry are not two things that go together.
I don't think Phil could get angry either.
I don't think so.
No, I
think
I don't see it.
Phil's angry, he might still be smiling.
Or he'd laugh at it after, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd literally catch fire. I'm trying to think of who the two of you know that would have seen me angry.
Nobody.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think it is either. I think even if you come up with something, I don't think it's going to be true.
You know what? Cherry, Diana has seen me angry.
Really?
Just once. And she was really scared. She was really scared. I remember now. She thought I was going to burn the place down.
Oh my God. Over
like I'm actually not joking. So we work with this fabulous marketer named Diana Cadet, and she did see me angry. She actually thought I was going to burn the place down because I was so angry. But I think she might be the only person.
I'm with you, Cherry. I don't buy it.
Yeah, we're both shaking our heads here.
Like Phil burning the place down is like running around with a match, right? You'd be like, yeah, okay, Phil, sure. What damage are you gonna do?
Like
if I get angry, I've got the gas gun on me.
Here's what I'm gonna do. So before this podcast goes out on Monday.
What do you do? Find an angry story?
I'm gonna find it, but I'm gonna record it. I'm going to record it. So I'm going to get Diana to just jump on like a line with me and I'll get her to tell the story if she can remember it. Otherwise I'm totally jammed. Right. But I've said it in the podcast now. So I got to find someone who can,
it's not going to matter.
Can back you up.
I don't know Diana.
Actor.
Yeah. I don't do it. Maybe Diana's very, you scared Diana, but maybe Diana just scares when a door closes. I don't know. Like trust me, I know people. Like when I get angry, if my friends get angry, trust me, everybody knows. The whole block knows. Like it's no match.
Diana, if you're listening to this, I apologize, but you are kind of a scaredy cat. But I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Honestly, I've got a very long
guy. It's nice to be like you. It's okay.
No. I just want to be able to prove that I'm capable of getting angry.
Why?
Because. It's tough being the cheery guy all the time.
You're a nice guy. I love you, man. Just be like you.
Lights up a room as he enters and is trying to find
true.
0 or 1 instance that he's been angry.
Oh. Exactly. Every Thursday night I sign on. Sure. I see his face. Look at that beautiful face.
Ken.
And I'm happy. Because he's always smiling. Even when I'm down, I look and he gets me excited by the end of the show. See, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh man.
It's a wonderful thing.
Oh.
It's a
Cherry,
wonderful thing.
Thank you for being on the show. I really we're glad you came on.
I'm really happy.
Really.
We're gonna have you back. I want you, because you're gonna pick up a whole crap load of accounts in the next couple months. We already know that. But I'd like to hear where you're at or what you're doing. And I think the next time we do want to try to talk a little bit about the scaling or how sort of the consultant world can scale.
Yeah, June was, I deliberately took on less people for June so I can think a little bit more about scaling this month. And one of the outcomes for that is I'm going to start my own YouTube channel to teach people how to create their own CRMs or to create their own project management databases, anything like that. So I think,
so does that not sound like something we talked about?
It did.
But let's talk about this more. I feel like you want the YouTube channel, but I think you want acquisition to go with it.
Yes, absolutely. So
I'm thinking webinar. Like I'm thinking webinars. I'm thinking
why can't you do
collabs.
YouTube though? Why couldn't you do a YouTubey thing that doesn't have to be? It could be like a webinar, like so. It just enough of a teaser, enough information to make someone scary. Like just give them enough to really to do some damage, good or bad. But something that someone says, you know what? I think I need a little more information from that person.
So the only thing that I love more, so the thing that I love about webinars is they're very focused approach, and they tend to be focused on learning.
Right, and people signing up and coming are probably
and then there's scale, right? Like you know, like first couple of webinars you might get like your mom.
Yeah, I'm already gonna send my mom my YouTube channel. Like,
like our moms don't even listen to this, so I mean, we're not even there yet on the
like
podcast.
Us to sign up, right? But
we'll do that.
Eventually, you get some rhythm going, and then you get like like it's like all the other funnels, right? Is if you get 50 people in, 10% of them are going to call you, right? That's 5 leads. Like for a small business, like any of the 3 of us, that's actually significant, right? Like so I like that versus the YouTube's just got like the teasers are out there, but the problem is like you're competing with teenagers that are posting things like picking their nose and getting 1 million followers, all that kind of shit, right? That you gotta worry about, so that's why I like the webinar thing, right? And then webinars go back on YouTube later anyway, right? So that's why I like the acquisition approach, because I think you just you can kind of pick up and do a little bit more with it. So
one of the things we sort of chatted about was like in terms of the scaling is how does we're all one people shows for the most part, right? So how do you scale a one people show? Like what you got to what's your motivation for scaling a one people show? Like it's not necessarily you want to take on a lot more clients, because that becomes very difficult. Typically what the motivation would it be top line? It'd be really profit. I mean, how much can you make doing this? Because in our worlds, what happens if scaling means becoming larger, that could be very problematic. When you're looking around the room at the help, and basically the only help is in the mirror, and you're terrified to look at that person because you are now just
you're doing
so
everything.
It was kind of what we were talking about even the other day. And Sherry and I were talking about, similar to what you and I were talking about, is how do you do this where the scaling, you scale based on, in essence, of this little network of others, because there's only so much time in a day, right? So if you want to make $1 million consulting, you can do it, but you're probably not going to sleep a lot. Potentially, right? You know what I'm trying to get at? Like it's hard to do.
But I think we've got it, right? Like I think you look at the examples that we were giving you earlier of, where a Cherry can come into play versus someone like me, right? And like, I think that is the scaling portion of this, is when you get brands who, when Cherry shows up and says, listen, I can give you a structure, all these things, they're going, what's a funnel? Like, what am I doing? Like that's a moment where you go, listen, go talk to Phil for a second. He can help you figure out this funnel thing, right? And then Phil can
all the strategy,
right?
And Phil can chuck you to Cherry, and Cherry can help get your structure, and then that's where you come in, where you kind of go, awesome, you've got like the marketing, you've got the analytics piece, I can show you how to tune this thing up now, right? Because at the end of me and the end of Cherry, the picture is really just coming clearer, right? Like we really haven't. All we've done is organize their lives and made them a little bit more efficient, right? And like a guy like you're going to be able to take that and blow it up, right? Because you're going to go, I ran all your shit, right? Like Cherry got it all organized. We know where everything is. We ran all the shit. I'm going to now like power keg every one of these to blow them up so that you're moving quicker. You know what I mean? Like So I feel like that's how you scale as independents, and then within this network, right? Is if we start, we're almost each other's lead generation in a way, right? Because
That's just it, though,
they're
right?
going to be, when we hit that rhythm, it's going to be like, you know what, you don't need me, right? Like you're good here, but you really need to talk to Kenny, or you really
now
need
you go into part. Now this is the next step, right? You've got, or you know what, maybe it's a finance person who does a lot of the, you know, it's not us. Go to this person, and then everybody sort of plays this role. And you can actually take this person through in a lot cleaner method, because you've done things, Phil, too. I don't know, Cherry, if you've done a lot of products or anything like that, but you can get lost in the, like you can get into $150,000 worth of weeds and be no better off than you were when you started, because you've just spent a lot of money, but there is no clarity to what you're doing.
And
right?
honestly,
that's
I don't
not
think
a fun spot to be in.
Yeah, it's also not just about growing my business so much because I've got enough going on right now. It's also about one thing I'm trying to think more about is just how can I help my clients grow as well. So whether that's referring them to Kenny or Phil, just like, okay, I've done what I can for you, but I obviously can't do everything. Like at one point I had a client just say, I wish you did recruiting. I'm like, those are completely different skills. So just because I'm good at one thing doesn't mean.
I'm glad you wish that. I have no desire to have that in my wish list.
I can build you the Airtable that you need to track all the people that you should think about. But
or once you get them, I can help you track them then. But I'm no interested in editing.
Exactly, but I'm not gonna.
But that is how you do it. I've done it with Phil. Like I've had people and they start talking, they say, you could do it. I said, well, quite frankly, I don't think I can do it. If I was ballsy enough to think I could, it's going to take me a year. Phone him, and in probably 10 or 15 hours, you're going to get a year worth of work out of me, because he knows what the hell he's doing. It's his gig, right? No different than when you and I got off the phone. That's why I threw two bodies at you, because I know they need the help. I just don't think they know what they need. So now how good a salesperson you are going to be is going to sort of determine that too. And that's not pressure on you. But they have to understand why I sent you to them, because I know they can use it, but I can't articulate it either. I just know that we need some help, right? And that's I think how we help each other, right? Just pitch it. I'll give you I got the expert. Talk to her. She'll figure it out.
There's some other neat synergies there too, right? Like I'm thinking this through, some of it needs to be natural synergies, right? Like we're going to work at this a little bit, but at some point, we're going to click or we don't click, right? But then as we start building this out, there's also going to be stuff where if I'm looking at a client, you were talking, Cherry, and I was thinking about a couple of folks already. And, it's almost like then if we're on the same page, when they go from me to you, and then they go from you to Kenny, or however that works, right? If we're thinking about things the same way, right, and we start picking up the same tools, it's also easier for the client, right? Because, I just went through this with Mutlux, where they hired an agency after I finished working with them, who kind of turned them inside out in terms of the systems and tools they were using. And so we're coming back to it and we're going, why do you have all these Google IDs? Why do you have all this, it's all these, because different people do things in different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And that also sets them back, right? But when you work in a network where you kind of go, Cherry and I we worked together at Hubble, we haven't worked together as independents, but at some point we go, you know what? I know what Cherry loves these platforms in particular. And, she has she says these ones work better together. And so if I'm working and I don't have a preference, maybe I'm picking these because I've got an eye, knowing 100%. That once I've set them up, I can kind of go, Cherry, and Cherry go, this is awesome. You pick the ones that I love. I got the right connectors for this. You know what I mean? But for the client too, it really means something, right? Because it means,
it does.
What the hell? This guy got me sorted out. I went to another guy. They turned me inside out before I could really utilize their services, right? So,
but I think that's what happens in a lot of consultants, because it's. I always use the analogy because we did it when we were building our house. So I'll tell you the story. So we were building our house, right? And Amelia and I, because we've never built a house before, we should be contractors, right? Because that's just logical. You don't need to hold a fucking hammer and you're going to go build a home, right? So we did the whole process. We got all the permits. We did everything. And I have a buddy who does build. So we went to him. I said, listen, just help us understand. And he goes, okay, bring me what you're going to do for flooring and paint and tiles.
Yeah.
And we brought, and we had, this was a kitchen, living room, this and that. And like Amelia was, like, we had spent fucking days, I shit you not, days doing this, right? And he looked at it and he goes, like, I could see Daryl, he goes, what the fuck are you doing? and we're, what do you mean? He goes, well, individually, this is going to build some nice rooms.
There's no flow. There's no. Oh no. Kenny built his house wrong. He's got no internet left.
I know.
We lost Kenny. Kenny's
How can
lost
you build
in
a
his
house without
rooms.
internet?
He built a house without internet.
You know what? It's just such a big house that his Wi-Fi doesn't extend far enough, like from one end of the house to the other.
Did I just lose you guys?
Yeah.
You
were
did.
joking.
You know
Did
what?
I lose
We
you?
were saying how it's because you built such a big house that your Wi-Fi can't carry through from.
You know what it is? It's my wife is no different than I am. You can look at small buckets and make really nice little buckets, but that doesn't mean all the buckets fit into the same big bucket. Like, honestly, the house would have been a train wreck. You would have walked in and it would have been disjointed. Where my buddy comes in, because he's got this, and he puts all these pieces together, and it's recommended some trades we'd use, etc. It's Phil's sort of saying is that because everybody's got their own expertise,
Yeah.
but understands the greater picture, but knows their part. For
Yeah.
a client, it just makes it so seamless. To what you said is, I know what Cherry's going to use.
Yeah.
I know how to use it a little bit because I've done some
Yeah.
projects with her and I'm comfortable. So you're telling your client, listen, these people know each other. They don't work together as partners, but they've worked collectively. Trust me, this will work. Your house will be a nice looking house. You'll be proud of it. People will say, wow, what a nice, I don't know why this is a nice house. Oh, wow, what a nice house.
Yeah.
And it's because it flows.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, seriously, businesses, I mean, that's why all these freaking software packages that people buy, they're great on their own, but they don't talk to anything else in your world. And nobody knows how to get out of them.
Get you.
Exactly. And people don't know that. That's why I really wanted you to talk to these guys, because you could just, I know they're just terrified to do it because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And they're going to get complicated, and they're going to get sold shit that I've seen everybody else buy that, like Phil said, nobody knows how to use. And then 3 years in, next.
I hate that.
No, it is what it is, right?
Man.
It is what it is.
Such a good analogy, Kenny.
Okay,
that was
Cherry.
my world, my dear. That's what we got shit for.
Cherry, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at airopsconsulting.org, AIROPS consulting.org.
Okay. Or they can look up Cherry Yang on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon, a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Webinar coming to you soon.
Webinar coming to you soon. You know what? I need to be able to commit to like a webinar schedule, which is very difficult because it's like between client calls and
you need Phil. Every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, I know I'm supposed to be somewhere.
That's what I need.
You need a Phil. No one using this podcast work because Phil. I know every night, every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, I know where I'm supposed to be.
No, that's us. Come on, Ken.
No, that's mostly you.
No,
listen, you take the credit.
Listen,
everybody who's listening and knows me definitively knows it's not me. Okay?
No,
you know it's not me.
But you got to show up every Thursday. You don't show up every Thursday. I don't have a podcast.
I set my alarm in my phone.
So there you go.
It's at 7:30 Thursday night. Oh, it's Thursday night. I got to see Phil. Because you know what the alarm says? See Phil.
Part of your week, right?
That's it.
Everything.
Nice and easy for simple people. It's beautiful.
Cherry, let's talk. I'll help you.
Awesome.
Very cool.
I can see it already. Awesome. And then I will put all of Cherry's stuff in the episode notes. So if you're listening to this, you'll see it in the episode notes as well. And then we expect to see you back on the show.
I think we'll have you back in the fall. Please spell your name for people looking on LinkedIn, because that's probably where they're going to find you. Because if they're looking up Sherry, they're not going to find you.
That's right. It's spelled Cherry, and my last name is Yang, Yang.
Perfect.
Yeah, would love to come back on the fall, during the fall, and catch up with you guys. Hopefully, I'll have good news to share, and we would have collaborated on some projects by then.
Never know.
I think the other thing is if you get an interesting case. So if you're working on a customer, because I think it's like what you do is like what Kenny does and what I do is all of it can sound kind of abstract. Like when we get into each of our respective views, you start connecting the dots. It's like, and everyone goes, what the hell are they talking about? So sometimes when you run into interesting cases, like pop me it out and just go, listen, I got to get on the show because I got this really interesting case. I think those really help people to put the Lego pieces together.
Absolutely.
Because they can follow you right through the process and you go, this client, this is what I'm helping them with, or you don't even need to say the name. You just kind of like, here's their problem. Here's how I'm putting it together.
There's hundreds of clients sitting on the phone thinking, holy shit, that's my problem too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely do a case study at some point. Got lots of interesting ones.
Anyway, you can come on anytime. We like you, so you can come on anytime you want.
Oh, perfect.
Just ping us.
I should just put it in my calendar and I'll just listen to all the conversations you get.
Half the time, I think it's just me and Phil talking to each other.
Yeah.
We get told that a lot too, actually. I should laugh about that. Oh, boy.
Amazing. Thank you, Sherry Yang.
Awesome. Thank you
We
so
love
much.
Thanks, Sherry. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks.
And we'll chat with you. We'll chat with you soon, I hope.
Yeah, we will. Okay. Have a great night.
Thank you,
Take
my
care.
dear. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
So, Mr. Phil?
So,
Now
what's
what?
going on?
I don't know. I'm going to watch a little TV.
The boss said that they're not too long.
Was the boss okay?
Yeah, the boss said it was okay.
Okay, as long as the boss is okay. She hasn't said anything to me this week, so.
Okay.
I usually get shit when you don't post. Or I'll get a compliment, so that was a good one.
Okay.
And it kind of just goes. But I don't think she said, so that's good. So as long as the boss is happy, then we're happy.
Yeah, the boss is happy. And our numbers, so there's some interesting developments. So one is our podcasts continue to go up. Our numbers are, we took a dip this week. I don't know why. Last week was like huge though. We had 400 downloads last week.
Holy, why?
I don't know. But I love it. I love it.
You know what it is? It's because of that intro of ours that everybody criticizes. That's why. Oh my God.
So that's going on. And then I thought I saw, I'm just going to check real quick, but I think, so we publish through Simplecast, right? So Simplecast is like it's like the hosting software that holds the podcast. And Simplecast, if I saw it right, I got like 18 different like emails on my thing, but I think Simplecast is now part of SiriusXM.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you and I are now on SiriusXM.
Wow, like that's big.
And Pandora, actually.
I don't know Pandora, do I?
I don't know. It's SiriusXM hyphen Pandora. So I think it depends on where you are in the world. But there are some interesting things going on. Anyway, so I think it means that we're actually making it to more places than we ever have before.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
I really do think, I think a lot. I do think the more guests we have on who share things that people can relate to is obviously pretty, it's a smart way to do it, I think. Yeah. Right. Because I do like the fact that people, I mean, they get it. I mean, it's just, we're all just pretty much everyday people just trying to do whatever the hell we're trying to do. Yeah. And we all kind of go through the same, we fall in the same spots typically. And we don't have to, if we listen, you can see the pitfall coming, you can skirt around it. Yeah. Find a new one, share with that one. Right. Well, that's how it works. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I like the fact that I think we've got some interesting people on. Mark's scared shitless to come on next week. He's already freaked. It's good for him. Let him be. It's fine.
We'll have to.
And then you have one. Who's the one after that?
So we have Yulia from Intellicate. She's going to come on.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. I was also thinking that after that, you and I should schedule some time. I think it would be, I mean, we're 130 plus episodes in, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to do an interview. So for me to interview you and then you to interview me at some point.
Oh, geez, I'd have to be prepared then.
No, I don't think so. I just think, so one is because one of the reasons is I see the About Us episode getting downloaded a lot. Like it continues to rise, right?
Then it's probably time to get that updated a little bit.
Yeah. So I think the About Us, but I also think that anyone who hasn't been on the 130 episode journey, it's probably a good place because we're starting to pick up a ton of new users. It'd be a good time for them just to learn a little bit about both of us, I think. You know, so I think after Yulia, which is the beginning of July, I think the next two should be us.
Sure.
Like one of you and then one of me, I think.
Sure.
Is really cool, I think.
Sure.
So, well, we'll see. It'll be fun.
I'm a game.
It'll be fun.
A game.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
A whole hour though, that's too much. I think we should just do a couple 5 minutes in between. We could
have someone interview us. Someone we
really
love.
Otherwise, you know what? You're just going to stress me out. You're going to stress me out with a question. Then I have to ask you. You're going to just stress me out completely. Why do you want to do that?
No, I think we'll figure it out. But I think it's
anxiety just thinking about it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Go watch some TV.
I have a glass of wine now.
Have a glass of wine. Yeah.
Oh, it's all good, buddy. It's
awesome. It's awesome.
Okay, my friend, we're at an hour and 15 again.
We are, yeah. We're starting to stretch these out. So yeah. You have a good night.
Thanks, man. You too.
I will talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
I hear your name way more times than I ever used to hear during the week, so that's good to hear.
Yeah,
which is good. That means you're influencing, and I think that's really important, and I appreciate it. Thank you, because I think it's
you're welcome.
A massive help. Massive.
We're starting to talk about that stuff. We're starting to stuff won't make it into the recording, but we're starting to talk about just
we can shut it off.
Let me hit stop here. Yeah. All right. That's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.